Hola, this is Spanish with Kate Languages. Thank you for downloading this free introductory lesson on Spanish phonics. To access the worksheet that I'm going to be talking us through during the lesson, go to katelanguages.co.uk/courses and you will find it there. If you're enjoying my free content, please have a think about going to buymeacoffee.com/katelanguages to show your support. Thank you. So in this lesson, we're going to be looking at Spanish phonics. We're going to look at 5 sounds in Spanish that are different to English sounds. The first one we're going to look at is the letter J. And the same sound is also made with the letters GE and GI. So this sound doesn't have an equivalent in English. It's a bit like a hard h sound, and it comes right from the back of your throat. So ch. So J or G followed by an E or G followed by an I makes a ch sound. Examples of this are ojos, meaning eyes. It's a really common sound. There are lots of examples, but yeah, these are just a couple. So ojos, meaning eyes. La gente, meaning people. Colegio, meaning school. Like I say, lots and lots. But when a G is followed by an A, O, or U, it's a hard G sound. So examples of this is delgada, which means thin, or delgado, for the masculine. So you've got your GA in the middle there, delgada, delgado. Largo, larga. Largo is your means long. Or guapo, meaning good looking, or guapa, meaning beautiful, which is GU. So guapo, guapa. Another sound that is unique to Spanish, it's different to English, is double L. It is a Y sound. So, for example, me llamo, meaning my name is, literally means I call myself. Ella, meaning she. In some accents in Spanish, actually it's a much harder sound. That is more like a J sound almost, so me llamo or ella. But the way I tend to speak and pronounce Spanish and the way I teach it is that the double L is a Y sound. So me llamo and ella. My examples here. The third one is the letter R, and double R is actually a letter in itself in Spanish as well. So the R sound in Spanish comes from the front of your mouth. So you put your tongue to the top of your mouth, just behind your teeth, and you roll your tongue. So r, r, r. So a single R is more of a r, and then a double R is a r. Okay, that's slightly exaggerated, but a good examples of the difference here. So the word for but is perro. The word for dog is perro, which is with a double R, perro. So but is perro, dog is perro. If the R is before a letter like an M, so like in English, we wouldn't pronounce it at all. So like, for example, German, you don't hear the R. In British English, you don't hear the R there. In Spanish, you still need to say R. It needs to be R, but it's a little bit softer here. So hermana, hermana. The next sound is made by Z or C followed by E or C followed by I. And these letter combinations make th. So it's a soft th, like in bath, not the sound we have in z. So it's not z, it's not a hard z, it's a soft th. So examples are azul, which means blue. So A-Z-U-L, azul, azul. Z is always th, regardless of what comes after it. So it's always th, azul. An example of a word with CE, once, once, meaning 11. A really common example of CI is gracias, meaning thank you, gracias. Again, this is Spanish from Spain, and I'm aware that in Central and South America, the Z, CE, and CI is actually more of a S sound, so you'd say azul once, gracias. But again, I speak Spanish from Spain, that's what I teach, so azul once, gracias. The last sound we're going to look at today is the letter V, which is more like a B sound. So again, really common examples of this. The word for 9 is nueve, nueve. So you can hear it's quite a soft. It's not like nueve, not a hard B. It's quite a soft B sound. So nueve and noviembre, noviembre for November. Okay, so to just go through them again quickly. J, GE, and GI is ch, ch. Double L is a y. So examples, me llamo. The R, whether it's a single or double R. So single R is a r sound. Double R is more of a r sound. Z, or C followed by E, or C followed by I, is th. So for example, azul, meaning blue. Once, meaning 11. And the letter V is more like a B. So for example, nueve, nueve. Okay, so let's practice this with a short text. I'm going to read it aloud. I want you to pay particular attention to the key sounds that we've just been talking about here, that I've just been talking about here. I'll just make this a bit smaller so you can see it better. Okay, so the key sounds that we've been looking at here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read each sentence and I'll pause so you can repeat after me. If you would prefer to try to say it yourself first and then listen to how I say it, that's fine, go ahead. I'll leave enough space between them for you to do that. Okay, so the text is: Esta es mi hermana. Se llama Silvia y tiene 10 años. Es bastante alta y delgada. Tiene el pelo largo y castaño y los ojos azules. So if we go through it in a bit more detail and look at the different sounds that we've been just talking about. So first of all, the ch sound. Let's see where we've got the ch sound in here. Right at the end here, ojos. Ojos, that's the only example we've got there with ch sound. So los ojos azules, ojos. The next sound we had was double L. And again, we've only got one example of this. So se llama, se llama. So this means her name is. So se llama Silvia. Her name is Silvia. Se llama. Third sound was the R. So we've probably got a few more examples of this. So hermana, as I mentioned before, it's a softer, but you still have to pronounce the R. So hermana. Largo. It's another example there. So largo. You still need to say the R in there. So el pelo largo, largo. The next sound we had was the th sound. So we have a couple here. So 10. So 10 años. Tiene 10 años. So even when it's at the end of a word, like I said, a Z is always a th. So even at the end of the word, 10, 10. And then we've got azules, azules, meaning blue. Which was our example above as well, wasn't it? Okay, and then also a B sound, like in Silvia. So the English would be Sylvia. In Spanish, Silvia, Silvia. So it's a B sound, Sylvia. Okay. Reading through this, there are a couple of other things as well that I didn't put in the like top 5 sounds, but also really important when it comes to Spanish pronunciation. Number 1 is that you pronounce all the letters. There are no tricks, there are no silent letters like you have in French. There are no like, oh, this is a letter A. Is that pronounced A or O or God knows what, or A like it is in English? You literally just pronounce all the letters as they are. So all the vowels are A, E, I, O, U. Always. And you always pronounce all of them, except the letter H. So the word hermana here, your H at the beginning is silent. Yeah, so it's not her. There's no her in there at all. Hermana. Okay. See if there's any other H's. No. At the beginning, I mean, this is at the beginning of the word. So hermana is silent. Another letter that is unique to Spanish is the Enye. Enye. So it sounds like an N followed by a Y. So we've got a couple of examples in this text. Años, años, meaning years. Años. So it's almost like it's spelled A-N-Y-O-S, años. And then also we have the word castaño, which is brown hair, brunette. So again, at the end we've got the Enye, so castaño. So yeah, just a couple more points there about a couple of other different things that weren't in my top 5. Okay, so I'm going to read it again, and again you can copy, you can say it after me, or you can try to say it yourself again, and then check that your pronunciation is correct. Okay. Esta es mi hermana. Se llama Silvia y tiene 10 años. Es bastante alta y delgada. Tiene el pelo largo y castaño y los ojos azules. Okay, so it's all very well being able to pronounce it. Do we know what it means? So using the picture of this cute little girl here, have a bit of a guess about the kind of thing that it might be talking about, and the vocab that we've just had above as well. So if you want to pause and work it out for yourself, go ahead and do that now. If you want me to just tell you what it means, then I'm going to tell you now. So, esta es mi hermana means this is my sister. Se llama Silvia. Her name is Sylvia. Y tiene 10 años, and she's 10 years old. Es bastante alta y delgada. She's quite tall and thin. So bastante is quite, alta is tall, delgada is thin. Tiene el pelo largo y castaño. So she has long brown or brunette hair. So el pelo is hair, largo is long, castaño, as I think I mentioned before, is brown or brunette. Y los ojos azules, and blue eyes. So ojos, eyes, azul, blue, as we've had above. Okay, so quick quiz. Can you remember what you have just learnt? Ideally, go away, think about this again, come back to the quiz tomorrow, come back to the quiz again in a week's time, come back again in a couple of weeks' time. So test yourself, not always, like, do the quiz now if you want to, but it's really useful to test yourself after a little while to make sure that it's actually staying in your head, and especially something as important as phonics that you really need to understand and be able to do to be able to speak Spanish at all. Okay, so question number 1. How do you say J in Spanish? So if a word has the letter J in it, how do you pronounce it? The answer is ch. So remember, there's no English equivalent, but it comes from the back of your throat. It's like a really hard ch sound. Ch. Okay. Which other letter combinations make the same sound as J? Which other ones make the ch sound? So if you remember, it is GE, like la gente, and GI, like colegio. So question 3, where does the R sound come from in Spanish? How do we pronounce the R sound, basically? So if you remember, you put your tongue at the front of your mouth behind your teeth and you roll your tongue. So r, r, r. I know for a lot of English people, this is actually a really hard sound to make. I love it. It's really fun. I find it really fun making these different noises in different languages. So r, r. Question 4, how do you pronounce Z, CE, and CI? All the same. And this is in Spanish from Spain. And the answer is S. So examples we've had are azul, meaning blue. I can't remember what the examples were for C. Or C and CI. Oh yeah, once and gracias. There you go. Again, lastly, the V, a V. So if a word has the letter V in it in Spanish, we pronounce it like a B, but quite a soft B. So nueve, meaning 9, or noviembre was our example as well for November, noviembre. Okay, so like I say, come back to this quiz again tomorrow, come back to it again in a week, come back to it again in a month, and keep thinking about these different sounds and when you're trying to say words in Spanish, you try and pronounce things in Spanish, keep coming back to these different sounds. But remember, it's a completely phonetic language, and other than these different sounds, which are always pronounced in the same way, then that's it. That's really all you need to know. And the other 2 things I said was H's are silent at the beginning of words, and the N with a tilde on the top, with the accent on the top, little wiggly line, is a Nye sound, so like año. That's what you need to know to be able to start being able to pronounce Spanish absolutely brilliantly and sounding like a Spanish person. So as I say, you can access the worksheet I've just talked us through here. We do have the answers here as well on the worksheet at the end. On my website, katelanguages.co.uk/courses. And if you enjoy this free content, please think about going over to buymeacoffee.com/katelanguages. Muchas gracias.